Alrighty. Good evening, inmates. It's Rev today speaking. Excited to be back. It's been a while since I last shared one of my pieces with y'all. So, excited to once more be on the pod with y'all. The prompt this week was given by the wonderful Sticks, and that prompt is a completely useless no loitering sign. So, I'm excited to be sharing this piece with you. It is the first piece that I'm sharing from this group, from kind of this universe here on the podcast. But it is the third time I've actually written. I believe this is week 253, and I wrote about these people in weeks 206, 209, and 245. So, if you feel a little lost with who's who, that's kind of going to be why. And because we started the podcast with the more recent episodes after 206 and 209, you won't be seeing those pieces, dear inmates, for a very long time. So, just kind of for a point of reference, the cast that we're following are a group of space pirates, and well, that's it. I'm gonna jump into it here. So, without further ado, my piece is titled "Glitch's Biggest Job." Jimothy was making her way through the slums of Metropolis with Captain Klaus, though slums was very much a relative term. The dirtiest slums in the city planet still meant furnished and functional apartment complexes, the shortest of which would be 10 stories tall and the tallest only reaching 20 stories. These were massive buildings to Jim, who grew up on a more conservative planet in terms of both city area and city population. The largest city on her home planet had 13 million people when she was growing up and covered less than 800 square miles. Klaus was looking for Glitch, one of the best hackers in this sector of the galaxy. Glitch refused to go off planet, terrified of getting caught by the Marines when attempting to leave. A little paranoid, but everyone has their quirks. After walking along the 5th-story walkway for 10 minutes, Klaus suddenly jumped up a fire escape stairwell and kept climbing. Jim knew better than to say anything and just sighed before following her captain. They climbed through a window on the 8th floor before making their way into an elevator disguised as a closet. "Here we are," Klaus said as the elevator stopped somewhere lower in the building. "Below the building?" "Glitch, how are you doing?" "Auntie!" Glitch rolled back in their chair, appearing seemingly out of nowhere. Jim had been imagining a pale recluse, but was pleasantly surprised to see another young person about her age. They had sun-touched skin and sun-bleached hair and were wearing a bright pink dress. "How have you been, Auntie?" "Who's this?" she asked, looking at Jim. "Been good, kiddo, been good. This is my engineer, Jim." Jim lifted her hand in a small wave and said an equally small hi. Glitch flashed her a small bright smile as Klaus continued. "We've had some close run-ins over the past few months, and I have a huge job for you." "What is it? What is it?" "I need you to erase 2 of my crewmates from the Marines database." "That is big. Compensation is going to be even bigger." "Glad to see you know your worth even with an old friend," the captain said with a smile on her lips. "Have to run a successful business." Glitch had the biggest smile on her face as she said it. They weren't even smiling at her, but Jim found herself blushing. She quickly looked down at her shoes, hoping that Glitch didn't notice. "Names and IDs. I need to check how much information I'll have to remove or rewrite before I give you the final amount for compensation." "Of course, sweetie," Klaus said, setting a piece of paper on Glitch's desk. "Khaldun and Adachi," Glitch said, and got to work. Khaldun and Adachi had been pretty high in the Marines and were well decorated, so it was understandably the highest compensation that Glitch had ever requested. "This'll take about a month to finish," Glitch said, turning back to Klaus and Jim. "Pay half now and half when it's done?" Since when did you stop taking full payment up front? Since I want an excuse to see your pretty friend again. Glitch looked at Jim and winked, which made her blush an even deeper red than earlier. You know the invitation to join my crew is always open to you. Sorry, Auntie. You know I'm too much of a homebody. Klaus laughed and looked at Jim. Is it good for you if we come back in a month? Oh! Jim was surprised that the captain had even asked her. Sure. All right. Half up front, half when it's done. We have a few other errands to take care of, so we'll get out of your hair. It's good to see you, Glitch. It's good to see you too, Auntie. And it was nice to meet you, Jim. It was nice to meet you too, Glitch. The walk to the meeting place was as quiet as the walk to Glitch's apartment, but Jim didn't even notice. She was too busy thinking about Glitch. They were so pretty, and that smile, just wow. The meeting spot was a tavern located on a plaza built on top of some of the taller buildings of the slums. And as they got there, they saw Maze and Malik standing outside the tavern chatting. Just to their left was a no loitering sign surrounded by wanted posters, including their own. The plaza was a popular location for smugglers, mobsters, and all sorts of criminal variety. Hence why two space pirates stood out in front of the tavern.
Hello, inmates. This is Styx with the judge commentary. I think I had a vision in my head of like a no loitering sign in the middle of an empty field, which might have been a picture that I saw once, or might have been an invention of my own head. I'm not sure. But that's probably, the vague vibe that I was feeling when I gave the prompt, and so it was super fun to see the sci-fi setting instead. I think this setting is really quite cool. The concept of a city planet is fascinating. And perhaps more than anything, I just enjoy this funny little meet cute that these characters get to have. You will probably hear more about the universe at large, but I didn't know anything about it when I read this piece for the first time, and I still thought it was very charming. As a setting and as a snippet of a story. There's clearly a lot going on behind the scenes, but this stands alone, I think, quite well. So, with that, I will hand you back to Rev. Keep those fires burning.
And that's the end there. So, yeah, real quick, couple authors note. First is that the name of this city planet that they're on, Metropolis, is a reference to one of my favorite video games growing up, Ratchet and Clank. The roots of the word Metropolis kind of just mean city, and Metropolis in Ratchet and Clank is a full city planet, as the planet I have here, and I was sincerely just too lazy to come up with my own name for a city planet, because why do hard work when you can reference your favorite childhood video game? Second note on the size of the planet that Jim is from. Just to go over those numbers real quick again, I said that her home planet, the largest city on her home planet, had 13 million people and covered less than 800 square miles. So for reference, at the time that I wrote this, the numbers that I got, Mexico City is about 8.5 million people in about 557 square miles, and New York is about 8.5 million in 300 square miles. So the world that Jim is from is more populated than Earth, but not that much more populated, and the density of that largest city is about the same as Mexico is somewhere between Mexico City and New York's density, despite being larger. So just kind of one of those fun things that obviously when you're talking about planets and whatnot, it's important to consider actual size density and all that kind of fun world building stuff. But yeah, so yeah, I really enjoyed writing this piece. It is a pretty direct follow-up to my piece 209. Well, not a direct follow-up, but the reason that Klaus has come to glitch in this moment is very much motivated by the events that take place in 209. Adachi and Khaldun, who were former Marines, did some, how to put it, they blew up some Marine ships. No one was on them. They were mostly empty. But, they blew them up, put them out of commission. And so they have got, the Marines are hot on their tails for that reason. So if they can wipe them out of the system, it'll help keep them from getting caught in the future. At least that is kind of what Klaus hopes. But I digress. Yeah, that is it for my Scorch this week. My prompt, the prompt that I gave, is a Carter Vale TikTok. Editor Bones, if you would be kind enough to put the TikTok in the episode, I feel like that should fall under free use clauses or whatever.
I don't walk, I step. 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 I keep my shoes on inside. Yes, I'm looking too far. I don't walk, I step. I don't walk, I step.
Yeah, very professional of me, I know. Yeah.
The Cellblock Scorch is a production of Stellacore, an independent group of nerds sharing their obsessions with the world. Links to all our projects, including Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, Patreon, and Ko-Fi, can be found on our link tree, posted in each episode description. Follow us on Tumblr or Instagram to see the prompt of the day before the episode drops, and a quote from each Scorch the day after. If you would like to support our creative endeavors, you can give a one-time tip to the Ko-Fi of the writer of your favorite Scorches, or check out our Patreon. There, you can access the Scorches and episode transcripts for free, or sign up for Spark level support for $5 a month to gain access to our embers as well.